Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am so excited this morning. I know you all hear that from me all the time, but you will see why I'm so excited. I have a beautiful friend here who is going to rock your world if you'll just listen. She is a licensed life insurance consultant. She is a licensed minister. She has 2 children. She is the baby of 5. She is just amazing. But I think that my favorite part is she's so fun, but she is an entrepreneur at heart. She is absolutely rocking the business world with her daily, little quips about what we should be like. So I cannot wait to introduce you to the fabulous Tasha Cole. Welcome.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction. I believe that when I interview you, I'm just going to have to really do it up for you.
I'm just a princess. It's simple. That's all you have to say, right?
Okay, I can do that.
Oh, I am just thrilled that you accepted the invitation because I've watched quite a few of your daily lives, and they are so, so good. We want to talk about today the gift of transparency in business, because I am convinced it is a gift that we give our clients and customers.
I agree.
Would you like to start with telling us what transparency really means? Because we need to know what it really looks like.
That is a good question, Kim. Transparency means, in one word, uncomfortable.
Yes, it does.
Uncomfortable, because, and I had to learn this the hard way, when you're dealing with a client, like in my industry, a lot of people do not like to talk about death. Mm. When you say life insurance, they immediately equate that with death. Yes. So in that aspect, yes, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because there are some things that you will have to say to that client that will be uncomfortable. And you have to be straightforward. You cannot sugarcoat anything, because when I was going through the process with my dad before he passed away, I had no idea that I was going to be in the business. He passed away in 2001. I didn't become a licensed insurance consultant until 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So he was on his deathbed. I not knowing, he was teaching me transparency as he was dying.
Wow.
He cut straight to the point. He didn't leave anything out. He was a pastor as well. He was a pastor, and he just told us step by step, my mom and I and my sister, what he wanted us to do, how he wanted us to do it. And I'm looking at him like, huh? What? So I was very uncomfortable, because I was literally there with my mom when he took his last breath. Mm. And that to me was transparency in the rawest, uncomfortable place there is. Mm. So that's how we have to be as entrepreneurs with our clients. Tell them straight to the point, of course, with respect. Yes.
Yes.
But help them to see your heart and what you're trying to do.
Well, I'm a firm believer, if you don't handle things transparently, things will always bite you in the booty. If you're not upfront about something, or honest about even your own failings, I think that's been one of the things that has actually attracted a lot of my tribe to me, is the fact that I'm not a size 2. I'm not 20 years old. I'm not the prettiest thing anybody's ever seen. I'm not the thing that is on the magazine covers, but I'm real. And I talk about the struggle. We can laugh and talk about, and I know we will be talking about this morning for a while. We have been trying for almost an hour and a half to get this interview on, We're neither one techies. We don't even pretend to be. And I think that's part of the transparency too, is we were actually set to come on an hour and a half ago. And
Yep.
we are tenacious. That's the thing. We are tenacious. So we didn't give up and we kept trying stuff. But my point about that is if I got on here and I said, we're just so smart. We never have technical difficulties. We never have any problems. We never experienced death. We never went through those emotions. What kind of relatableness do I have? How could you relate to someone who's perfect? Because no one's perfect.
Right.
So I love the fact that you are open about, that was a hard blow. That was something you probably had never planned a funeral before. You'd probably never dealt with all those things. It's ironic to me because I didn't know this till just now, but in 2001 is when my oldest son passed away, and I was faced with a lot of the same things you're talking about. I had never planned a funeral, and I didn't know what that looked like. And so I had to come to those same terms of, oh my goodness, what do you really do? You can hide all that. You can hide all that emotion, or you can be real and raw about it. And I appreciate your transparency. Like I want to follow you and hear what you have to say because you get life. You understand that there's hard times.
Well, Kim, I want to say to you that I appreciate you for even saying that. That means a lot to me. And you have no idea that my journey is a whole lot deeper than just a life insurance consultant.
Yes.
It's a whole lot deeper than just a mother of 2 children.
Yes.
And I've had to learn transparency in the realest and rawest way.
Well, and you found it in
there
own.
is
I
no
compare
sugar on anything that I say. None at all.
I appreciate it. I love that you are not mincing words. That you don't tell me what I want to hear, you tell me the truth.
I try my best because I want people to tell me the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully one day you'll get to meet the woman that tells me the truth whether I like it or not, and that's my mother.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
She has no sugar nowhere, but when she tells you something, she loves you right through it. Now, granted, you'll be mad for a few seconds, but it goes away. It goes away, and it ends in a soft sweetness where you just love her for what she says to you.
Well, have you found, like, even with your mom, because we're talking a lot about business today, but have you not found that when someone will tell you the truth, you find them much more trustworthy? Like, when they are able to speak to you and actually give you the value and the honor of truth versus telling you what you want to hear, you actually build a relationship quickly with them because, like you said, you get mad for a minute, but you figure out real quick that they're out for you. If they're telling you something that's going to improve your life in some way, that they are out for you. Their heart is toward you.
Yes, ma'am. That has been that's becoming a sweet spot for me to tell the truth up front. I've had people to tell me that I have had no tact when I say something. So I had to learn how to be tactful in what I say to people. And I do want people to earn my trust. I do want to earn their trust.
Mm-hmm.
And believe you me, Kim, I hadn't always been this way because I was a stubborn person. Stubborn person. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do. I said, oh, I got it. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. Well, guess what? Tasha didn't know what she was doing. And she was messing up. So until I realized, okay, I need to embrace this transparency. I need to tell the truth. You know, whether it hurts, whatever the consequences may be with that relationship, I still have to tell the truth. Whether it means me losing them as even a client or me gaining a friend from losing them as a client. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
But that happened.
And you know, I want to point out this too, is that when you deal with high level people, because I think that's another thing to this conversation, when you deal with high level people, they're used to, and sadly used to, the fact that most people just tell them what they want to hear. Because and I have a terrible term, you know, sometimes my princess vocabulary is not great, but I think that's like a bootlicker. If someone is a yes man or a bootlicker and they just want to tell you all the time how awesome you are and they don't really mean it, they're not sincere about it, I do not have time for that kind of stuff. Because if you're telling me I'm wonderful because you want me to buy your latest greatest thing, you don't really care at all about me. You don't care about me if you're telling me to buy this and you know it's not what I need.
I agree. You know, when I first started in this business in 2013, I was with a young lady and she brought me in with her to the firm that she was with. And I mean this in no disrespectful way, but the firm, none of them looked like us, me. And I was intimidated because I had no idea of what to say, how to be. I was being somebody that was not me because they were the type of people that were high up, high end contracts, dealing with customers, clients, like you were just speaking of. But the owner, she told me one day in a meeting, she said, Tasha, she said, I understand that you feel a little uncomfortable. I said, yes, I do. But she told me, she said, just because you and I are not the same color, she said, that doesn't mean that we don't go through the same struggles. She said, I have clients that come in here that's making $1 million, but they're in debt and they spending $1.2 million.
Exactly.
And she is person that she doesn't have any sugar either. And she talks to her clients like she tells them what they need to hear. And that's a part of what I've learned in my own life and in my own business in this industry. No bootlickers.
No bootlickers. You know, it's funny because a lot, and I mean a lot of the people that I work with they like me at first. They're excited. They sign up for something like a mastermind with me. And then they immediately wish they hadn't, because they immediately don't like me for a minute. Because if you ask me to help you in business, I'm going to be honest. If I'm not honest with you that you are, you know, these are the places where you've got to do something better, then I'm really not there to help you. I'm really there just to cash your check. And so most of them, and it tickles me because most of them have stories of, the time that they didn't like me because I was so, honest with them. But I also was transparent in the fact that I can tell you why this is not a good plan. I can tell you where I failed at something because I did what you're doing. Or I can tell you, a part of, my story, and you understand I'm not doing that to be mean to you, but I want you to succeed. So to succeed, we have to take real inventory. We have to really look at our business and say, okay, what's really not working? And I think it's a huge shift, because it's like you were saying, if you look different and you were contemplating trying to act like everyone else just to like fit in, that's going to make you incongruent. That's one of my sexy vocabulary words, is congruency. And when you're not being you, they can't tell if you're dishonest in what you're telling them or if you're dishonest in something else. Because when you're not being congruent, you are being dishonest. Like, we're taught to put that mask on and do what everybody else is doing. But that's not who we are. That's not, God didn't make us all exactly like each other on purpose. And so I need you to come to the table as you. I need you, Tasha.
Wow. And you know what, Kim, I'm going to tell you, as you were talking, years ago, my cousin, she's also a licensed minister. And she told me, she said, Tasha, you're a cookie cutter. At first, I didn't know what she meant by that. And she explained it to me. She said, you are a cookie cutter because you're trying to look like somebody else. You know how a cookie cutter will cut the same shape? And she said what you said earlier. God did not make us all the same.
Mm-mm.
We are all different. And you gave me an idea. When I sit down with a client, I'll just have like a form that says, this is the transparency / honesty clause.
I love
have
it.
them to sign it, and I'll sign it. That at this moment, at this meeting, this is what we are going to discuss. And that's transparency and honesty. Mm-hmm. If you cannot do that, then I won't be able to help you.
Yes. And you bring up such a great point in what you just said. We can be transparent and honest, but if we have a client who is trying to, most of the time it's out of embarrassment, trying to keep us from knowing where their failings are, if they can't be honest with us, we can't help them. Like, that's another part of this, the sexy transparency part is, if you're honest and I'm honest, man, we can get some work done. But if you're hiding things or you're embarrassed, and I'll just tell you out loud, I have a private group that I actually went on earlier this week and just confessed to them how I dropped the ball, because I bit off more than I could chew. And I just didn't realize it when I did it. And so I had to just go on and be honest about it, that I didn't serve them as well as I wanted to serve them. And that's that's part of, I think, doing business well, is if you're not transparent enough to come in and apologize, because I just needed to tell them, it's not because I don't like you. It's not because I forgot about you. It's not for any other reason except that I just choked on all the stuff that I had going. And I just was transparent about it. And of course the response has been, phenomenal, because they don't want me to quit. And I think that that's really important when we mess up, even in business. I think we need to be honest about it, that, hey, I can tell you not to bite off more than you can chew, but I have a meme that I actually posted in that group, and it said, someone told me not to bite off more than I can chew, but I decided that I'd rather choke on greatness than, you know, than live with mediocrity. And
Wow.
so I choked. I choked. That's just
Wow, that's a powerful statement. That's a powerful statement.
But the cool part is that opens up a thing where now if they're failing in something, they know I'm their girl. Like they know that I am open to hearing what's going on with them because I'm open about what's going on with me. And so I think it's very powerful in relationships, period, but especially in business. If I'm going to pay you, $10,000 to do something, and then you're going to dance around and not really be honest with me, I wasted my money. But, if I'm going to pay you that and you're going to say, in a nice way, I want to point that out too. We're not talking about being ugly to anybody.
Right.
The truth is actually being very kind. We can say it in a ugly way or we can say it in a nice way, but the nice way is what we should be doing.
Right. I agree with you. I had some error in that way too, because my tone, a lot of people would say, my mom again, she would tell me, your tone is terrible. You have to be careful of what you say to people. And she'll say to me all the time, she said, you don't want to push people away. You want to compel them to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work on my tone and what I say to people and how I say it, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
It's how you say it. So I had a lot of lessons, hard lessons in that, about how I say things to people. For instance, in my line of work again, being in an industry that is very tough, and you're dealing with people, and you have to be honest when you're doing an application. I'm a type of person, I am very honest in answering. When you ask me a certain question, I'm going to give you the answer that you ask me.
Be
I'm
careful
going to
what you
give you
ask
the
for.
answer that, yes, yes. So I tell my clients, don't tell me that you don't smoke and later we find out that you do smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the truth now.
Yeah. Well,
So I agree with you.
I think anytime we are told the truth, though, I think there's a way to fix that. I mean, I think we can work together and do something incredible if we can both be honest in the business transaction or relationship. Because if we're both being honest, okay, let's figure out if you do smoke, let's figure out what we can do about that. Either A, we'll get you a plan to get off of it, to stop smoking, or B, we'll figure out what kind of insurance you can have while you smoke. Instead of coming back later mad at you because the insurance didn't pay off or something because they didn't tell the truth.
Right.
So I think that's a great point.
That's a good idea. And you know what? One thing I believe that will be good for the client and the business owner, the entrepreneur, is the value that we both give to one another by being transparent, by being honest.
Yes. I think you add so much value. I actually have a conference that has no selling and no recruiting and no anything. It's just a total give back. But one of the things that's the tagline for it is the power of vulnerability. And, being transparent is a sacrifice as far as it's got a huge payoff, but it is a sacrifice in the fact that I have to be vulnerable with you to let you know where I'm not perfect. And I have to be vulnerable and let you know that something that I don't really want to tell anybody, but I have to be able to do that, to be able to move on, to be coachable or teachable. You have to be vulnerable. So I think your mom is a sexy instructor, by the way.
Look, she would love to hear that. She doesn't get to hear that word sexy too often.
Well,
She would love to hear that. That would
as
make her smile, Kim.
a sexy business is one that draws people, attracts people, not chases them. I mean, there's all kinds of sexy business principles that we teach, and that's one of them is how to attract. And just changing your tone, her helping you learn just to change your tone, that's attractive. You're going to tell me the truth, but you're going to be nice to me about it. I need to talk to you again. You know,
Yeah.
I need to continue to talk to you because I can trust you. And I do think that that's a huge thing is the transparency really does bring trust. And there's a saying, and I'm always bad about this, but there's a saying about we do business with who we know, like, and trust. I think are the three. Well, how do you build a trust relationship online or in person if they know you're not being congruent, you're not showing up as who you are, and you're not showing up, they don't know whether you're dishonest by what you're saying to them or if there's something else going on. So we actually can put off a vibe when we are not being, congruent with who we are. I'm silly. I mean, that's one of the things. And I tried to kind of tone that down because I thought that's what was expected of me. But I can tell you, I have done way more zeros in my business. I've added lots of zeros to the end of my, pay scale by coming and showing up as me. I am silly. That doesn't mean I'm not brilliant in business, but I am silly.
I am too. Is that why we drew to each other like that?
I
Because
think
we're both silly? I love it. I love it. And you know what? I learned this years ago. I was reading a quote from Brian Tracy's book, Quotes. And the word silly, the Hebrew word for silly is blessed.
really.
Yes,
Well, I'm double silly because I'm super blessed.
absolutely. So am I. So am I. Yes.
I love it. I love it. And people have made kind of fun of me, like, and I'm okay with this because at this point, I've done it so long, I don't care. But when I first started being really transparent online, it was difficult because they'd say, why do you talk about, puppies, or why do you talk about your silly stuff, or if you're supposed to be business, why are you talking about all that other stuff? And I'm thinking, because that's who I am. I love puppies. I mean, I'm puppy crazy, but that just makes you know who I am so that you can understand all about me, because our businesses should really be our lifestyle. Like our businesses, if they're sexy, create a sexy lifestyle. And so the most awesome thing is to get asked to come speak somewhere where they like you. I mean, they like your silliness, and they like they like how you are. You're not just there for educational purposes. And I promise you get educated while you're laughing. But, and I know you're a motivational speaker. You travel and speak also.
Yep.
Tell me,
And
tell me some.
I add my humor. I add my humor to it because I don't want people, excuse me, I don't want people just sitting there looking at me.
Mhm.
I want some interaction. And I thought the same way, Kim. I thought the same way. And I was like, you know what? This is me. You know, I am silly. I'll have a joke, just to make you laugh, to make you smile, because I don't know what you were thinking before you walked through those doors.
Yes.
When I have to speak on Sunday mornings or when I have to teach Bible study, I try to make it fun and engaging so they can learn at the same time
Mm.
while having fun. And just like with my clients, I'll talk to their families and I'll get to know them and I'll just be me. And I thought the same way that, well, maybe I need to tone down my silliness. I don't want them to think that I'm unprofessional because, I'm smiling all the time or I'm just bouncing around or doing something. So I was like, you know what, this is me, and sometimes I've actually sung to one of my clients before in an actual meeting.
I love it.
Their countenance was looking sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sung a song to them.
I love it.
I was like, I'm going to sing you a song. And she brightened up and she was like, really? And I was like, yes. And I started singing to her and her eyes started to water up.
No.
I had no idea what she was going through,
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
love
me.
that.
That's me, Kim.
But I love that you're intuitive too. Because I think also, when we let go of those masks and we let go of those things that we have to be, professional. And I am not saying that we should go in and be disrespectful in the office or any of those things, because there is a fine line there sometimes. If someone's in a meeting and they're being serious, then we need to respect that. But I love the fact that you go in and you're for real. And if they need something, because you don't wear a mask, you actually have the ability to sense what's going on with them, because you're not, all your senses are not tied to, okay, what are they thinking about me? It's tied to, how can I serve you? How can I serve you in the best way today? And singing, they would like not be appreciative if I sang to them. But I love the fact that you are so real that you would do that and bless somebody. That is just, to me, that's precious.
I love it. I love it. I wouldn't. Now, before, the other Tasha, she would have never done that. She would have never done the singing and all of that stuff. But I believe that I learned this from my mom too. She's a giver. She is a giver. She has taught me a lot in life and in business, because she was a hairdresser for the majority of my life, and I'm almost 40 years old. Excuse me. And she has spoken great things to me about me.
Mm-hmm.
And being intuitive is one of them. You have to sense the needs of the people, because if you don't, then you're not going to know what to give at that moment. And another thing that helps me, Kim, is that before I go into a meeting, before I, even if it's an impromptu meeting, I pray. I pray before I go into this meeting, because I don't want to necessarily, I don't want to be speaking. If you understand what I'm saying, I want God to speak through me to the people so they can hear him and not me, because I really have nothing to say.
I love it.
I really have nothing to say. So that's what I do. That's what helps me.
But I think that's the same thing, because that's one of the things, my daily cry to God is to, where can I serve today? Where can I be the biggest blessing? And sometimes, and this is so hard, but being transparent again, sometimes that means cutting off people. Sometimes that means removing yourself from, groups of people that are negative, or, they're not really wanting to change their situation. They're just wanting to, back the garbage truck up and dump all that mess on you. They're wanting to throw up on you, and you come over to their side and be offended at someone because they're gossiping, or be mad at this one because of that. And I just don't have time for that. And I think being transparent about that is important too, because if we're transparent about what we won't do, I think it also eliminates a lot of trouble in business and in life. I don't have time. I think your mom is phenomenal, because she is obviously intuitive and sexy, and and she's generous. That's a sign of great wealth. If you look at wealthy people in the media, they're portrayed as, selfish and lavish themselves with all these things. But the truth is, The wealthy people that I know, which are extremely wealthy, they're some of the most generous, honest, giving people you will ever meet. And you won't even know that they're as wealthy as they are because they don't have anything to prove. Like, they don't have anything to go around saying, well, I have all this money. If somebody has to tell you they have money, they don't. I mean, and so I look at your mama and I think your mama is a very wealthy woman just by the way you've described her. She is very wealthy because she understands sexy principles.
Yes.
So I can't wait to meet her.
That would be so awesome. She's not a social media person, but I've managed to sneak her in a live, before I actually started doing this on a daily basis every now and again. But I have pictures of her up on my page because I love her. I really do. And I want to do so much for her because she's given me so much.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and see, here's the way it works. Another gift of transparency is because she was transparent with you and she taught you to be transparent. Now her influence goes all the way through all your customers. She's influencing influencers. Like, you're an influencer and you're going to grow to influence influencers as well. But that's the perfect picture. She has influenced a major influencer in you.
Wow, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And she is she always tells me, she said, you were built for greatness.
Mm.
She always
Can I
says
second that?
Yes.
I totally second that.
Well, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. And we have run out of time. We're actually over time. But the stuff that you have to say, I just want to keep soaking up. So I'm going to have to end it. But I am so thankful you said yes to this interview. And I know you have busy days, but I appreciate you taking time to work through all the technology and all the issues we had and still come on and be an amazing Tasha. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, Kim. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Now, if you're following us, we will be sure and post Tasha's page in the comments. We want to make sure you get connected with her because she's doing amazing things. Even if you're not in North Carolina where she's licensed to sell or licensed to as a life insurance consultant, she still gives so much value on her page about things that I want you to get connected with her and learn from her. So we'll post in the comments her page. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team, and we're here to help you create sexy businesses for sexy lives like Tasha's.